Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, Super for 100, the brown skin human, and of course, yeah, brown skin human coming at you with another video series review. This is the intro to my various Saturday morning prime time American-based cartoons, both children, preteen, teenage, and adult. Quote unquote adult. This intro will be for two parts. One, a short narration, and the second part, a full length long webcam where I explain more about the cartoon I'm quote unquote reviewing. So, with that being said, let's get this video started right now. This is also a rant. Some of these cartoons will be rants, so yeah, let's get started right now. Let me show you who I am and what I'm here for. Here for. Hey, trying to reach inside of me, trying to take my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple curiosity, trying to signify to me. Let me show you just what I'm made of now. Hey everybody, it's time for the first part of my review of my episode group reviews of the entire season 1 of Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. I'm going to do separate videos for each section of the episodes. Then I'm going to put them all together for one gigantic review. This is my brand new reviewing style. Since unlike other cartoons, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm only lasted one season, episodes 1 through 13. So instead of season reviews, we're going to break them up into episode series reviews. The first three, which I'm about to talk about now, will be episodes 1 through 3, then episodes 4 through 6, then episodes 7 through 10, 7 through 10, and finally finishing with episodes 11 through 13. Like I've said in plenty of videos, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm is one of my all-time favorite. To this day, I still think it's one of the best cartoons around. Yes, one of the best around, not just the best, and the best video game adaptation ever, and the best video game adaptation of Mortal Kombat outside the comic books. In my opinion, it's recently been surpassed by Mortal Kombat Battle of the Realms, the animated movie. That has recently surpassed this cartoon right here.
Combat alert! There's a new rip in Earth's dimensional fabric.
That has surpassed this cartoon right here.
Read and see, satellite has you. Sensors are detecting.
But this is still one of the best adaptations. This is, in my opinion, the closest to what Mortal Kombat was supposed to be. And it sucks how Game Radar 1UP, I think that's what the website called, and many other Mortal Kombat, violent Mortal Kombat edgelords gave this cartoon a lot of flack because it wasn't the M-rated gore fest that the video games were, not understanding that the video games, all those fatalities, all the bloodbaths, all the blood and gore and stuff, they were for the enjoyment of the player. They weren't canon to the storyline. In Mortal Kombat 1, there was all this death and destruction. The only one that died was Sub-Zero. The only people that died were Sub-Zero and a bunch of red shirt characters, red shirt cannon fodder characters you don't play as or see in the game, but are in the prequel comic to the game. Mortal Kombat 2, nobody died except for Melina, which I didn't even know at the time. Mortal Kombat 3, nobody died with the exception of Shiva, which I also didn't know at the time. Mortal Kombat 4, once again, nobody died. Well, Shinnok got a fate worse than death. He got banished back to the Netherrealm. It wasn't till, and the good guys always triumphed over evil, always triumphed. Liu Kang reigning in the realm of Earth, the forces of light always triumphed over Shang Tsung, Khan, Shinnok, and Quan Chi, the forces of darkness. It wasn't till Mortal Kombat 5 Deadly Alliance where the bad guys started winning again. Then in episode 6, the remaining good guys, what did they do? Oh yeah, the remaining good guys who survived Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance got together and made everything right again. Then the last final game, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. A new champion Taven restored and preserved peace. So once again, in the original story, they initially changed this to set up the crappy Mortal Kombat 9, but in the original version and in my timeline, Taven beat Blaze and saved the day. But that's what I'm getting at. Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. So and unfortunately, when USA got rid of his cartoon block, this along with Street Fighter were canceled just after 13 episodes. I wish it would have ran the 13 more. It was canceled right when it was getting good, right when they were in the midst of the Mortal Kombat 3 storyline. This cartoon is based on the 1995 movie. It serves as an alternate sequel to the movie, and what's his name? And of course what else? Oh yeah. Is based upon Mortal Kombat 2. With elements of 3 and 4. With elements of 3 and 4. It has the character designs and storylines of 3, but it's mostly based on the Mortal Kombat 2 storyline because the bad guy Shao Kahn hasn't invaded Earthrealm yet. Instead, he uses other warriors to invade, enslave, and conquer Earthrealm for his own taking. And it's up to Liu Kang. It's up to Liu Kang and forces of light led by Raiden to prevent that from happening.
Sub-Zero? He's a traitor to his own clan.
Hey, I don't want to marry the guy, but he's
The
giving
main
us the
protagonists are Liu Kang,
I don't like this either, but we must eliminate the cybernetic unit.
Then what are we waiting for?
Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, Sub-Zero, Striker, Nightwolf, Sonya, Kitana, Raiden himself. Cabal appears in episode 12. And quote unquote,
We're gonna seal the rip.
Cabal, these are your defenders of the realm. Bad guys include Forces of Darkness, Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, who was resurrected in episode
For the
3,
moment, at least.
episode 9, Motaro and the Centaur, Shiva and Shokan, Smoke, Sector, Cyrax, and Oniru, the Lin Kuei Cybers, the Lin Kuei, and
Yeah, we were wondering which side you were fighting.
who else?
It is true. I was once Lin Kuei and fought for the forces of darkness.
And Kano and the Black Dragon, and of course Scorpion, and as a stand-in for Reptile, Kombat and the Raptors, and Kombat and Nomad, and Kombat is a stand-in for Baraka. One of the reasons I didn't like. Now I know why you couldn't use Reptile because he died in the first movie, but Baraka wasn't in the first movie. You could have used Baraka.
We must use the component
Yeah.
which brings life.
Yeah, phenomenal voice acting cast. You have the late Luke Perry as Sub-Zero, which surprisingly fits. God rest his soul, late Luke Perry, man. Luke Perry, man. I was saddened to hear when he died, because he was an awesome Sub-Zero, and this is one of my all-time favorite Luke Perry roles.
I realized that my own brother was innately evil and without honor. I could no longer fight for what my clan believed in. That was when I decided.
Yeah, it's sad to see so many people I grew up watching or listening to are now deceased. Olivia Bo as Sonya, Darian Harwood as Jax, Brian Toichi as Liu Kang,
Forgive Liu Kang for icing your brother.
What Liu Kang did, he did.
legendary actor Ron Perlman as Stryker, and legendary actor Clancy Brown as Raiden.
My return was no coincidence. This little confrontation with the Cybers was nothing compared to
And I think
the
Mia Ross voices Nightwolf.
Who sent you?
No one. I've come to warn you that Scorpion is on his way from Outworld to invade Earth.
And another thing that makes this cartoon fun, when the characters are not fighting crime, busting butt, and saving the world, I can picture the characters acting and goofing around like this, making all the one-liners and stuff. They made the characters more comical here, and it works.
Good timing, Raiden. The fighting's over, girlfriend.
This also has elements of Mortal Kombat 4, because this cartoon, I keep forgetting this too, this cartoon was the debut in Genesis of the Quan Chi character, who will become a major reoccurring antagonist in the Mortal Kombat franchise and the main antagonist of the next two games. Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, a prequel to the entire Mortal Kombat series, and Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat 4, the sequel to Mortal Kombat 3. I mean, Shinnok was supposed to be an episode depicting Shinnok, but the show was canceled before that episode could be produced.
Hold it. We can't reveal
Yeah,
the location of
episodes
MK
1 through
headquarters
3.
to him.
These are the weakest episodes of the series, but they were a phenomenal start to the series. You got episode 1 where the combat game fights the Lin Kuei Cybers, Karmarak, and the Nomads, and Sub-Zero makes his debut. He makes his debut. In the beginning, no one on the team, especially Sonya, trusted Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero gives them the opening they need to close the portal, so they assist Sub-Zero. When the Nomad find base, Sonya says Sub-Zero betrayed them. They go out and take care of the the threat outside while Raiden and Nightwolf stay inside with Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero risks his life and defeats Korvarak and the Nomad, and it's here where Raiden and Nightwolf said, and here where Raiden and Nightwolf stand up with Sub-Zero, saying that he's one of us. He just risked his life to save them, and everyone bows in respect. And Sonya apologizes and reveals she acts the way she does because she can't trust people, that she can't stand seeing people she likes get hurt. Episode 2. This episode was slightly better. This was the Scorpion themed episode, but this was also one of the weakest episodes because the battles between Liu Kang and Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, they could have been longer and better than what they were. These were some of the franchise's most premier and powerful characters, and you couldn't do that. First you had Sub-Zero's, which was hilarious. One kick and he jumped into the air, and Sub-Zero got one kick and he was done. Liu Kang and Sub-Zero, Liu Kang and Scorpion did their special maneuvers for a bit. Liu Kang just got Scorpion with a fireball and then hit him with a flying kick, knocking him out. This episode had a lot of great action and a lot of the music. Sister Machine Gun Kelly and I can get the other band, the music from the Mortal Kombat 1985 soundtrack appeared in the background. This is the first time I've heard a hard rock, licensed hard rock music in a Saturday morning cartoon back in the 90s. We see it all the time in the 2000s and now the 2010s where animation is better, but this is the first time I think I've seen it in the 90s.
It's a little more than that.
Not rock and roll music, but licensed rock and roll music.
It wasn't her fault, but she still feels responsible somewhere. She's hurting bad. We all deal with our pain a little differently.
Episode 3, this was the best of the first 3 episodes, Skin Deep. This is where Jax is in a battle with Kombat and the Raptors. Kombat hits Reptile's signature as to spit and damages a chip in Jax's new metallic arms. Jax has a nervous breakdown. Sonya decides to stay behind and find his witch girl, but in the process she gets kidnapped by Kombat and the Raptors. The Kombat gang has to go save him. Jax for the first time has to fight without his arms. He learns from Nightwolf to use his inner chi and use his surroundings and mind to fight. And he does this and manages to defeat Kombat and rescue Sonya. Together they knock out Kombat and Raiden sends Kombat and the Raptors back to wherever they came from. I like how this episode paid tribute to Mortal Kombat 2. Jax had to fight without his arms, which he debuted in Mortal Kombat 3. And I like this era of Jax better. Yeah, surprisingly, the Defenders of the Realm cartoon and the Mortal Kombat Annihilation, they did Jax better than the video games did. In the video games did the Annihilation, he fought with and defeated Cyrax, a giant dragon monster in the desert. And finally Motaro and killed that versions of Noob Saibot. He was pretty much the most viable character in the game, the MVP of that movie. Then you had this Jax right here. This Jax he defeated in this cartoon, in this franchise, he defeated Kombat and several other people I can't remember. He defeated Kombat, Ermac, and some other people I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, I like this era of Jax where the cybernetic arms were implants. Instead of these being actual replacement for his real arms, which in the newer timeline keeps getting ripped off. So yeah, these were the first 3 episodes. Episodes 4 through 6 are next. Some of the best episodes, 4 through 6.
Lou! Katana! Are you guys okay? We heard fighting.
This is Rain. He is a friend.
Hey everybody,
I have come with grave news.
it's time for
The
my
Emperor
review
Shao Kahn
of
has laid plans to invade
the
the realm of
next
Star.
3
What's that got to
episodes
do
of
with
Mortal
Kitana?
Kombat
It affects
Defenders
all
of the Realm.
In that realm is a sacred scimitar that contains the power to destroy the strongest warriors. If Shao Kahn takes it,
This
he will
right here,
rule all
in my
realms,
opinion, are some of the
including
greatest
Earth.
episodes
And just how do
of
you
Mortal Kombat
know all
Defenders
this?
of the Realm,
I belong to a small band
alongside
of rebels,
episodes
still
8,
loyal to the
9,
memory of the
11
old
through
Emperor,
13.
Katana's
These are the
late
best.
We live in the shadows of Outworld,
Yes,
striking when we can.
episode first we have episode 4, Skin Deep, which this episode features the first appearance, animated appearance of the Mortal Kombat character Rain. I thought Rain in this short-lived appearance here was done more justice here than he was in the entire video game franchise.
That won't be
In the
necessary.
video game
This same portal will take us to Saw.
franchise up until Armageddon in the most recent
Just hold
11.
on a second.
Then you got
I'm not convinced we
then
should
you
be
got
following this guy
Motaro and
anyway.
the Centaur. They make their first appearances here as minor antagonists. The whole plot centers around the Mortal Kombat characters going to Medina and getting into a fight with Rain. Rain claims he thought they were intruders and pretends to be their friend and fabricates the story that he was
I owe it to the memory of my father.
that
Shao Kahn's
that
plan
he's leading a
cannot
silent rebellion against
Katana,
the
are you
Emperor,
sure you can
against
trust him?
the Emperor Shao Kahn and playing the throne
Let's get to it
and
then.
wants to team with the combat games. Liu Kang was already jealous of Reigns because Katana knows Rain was her previous lover, and she was going to be engaged to him.
Ain't love grand. Rain, any idea where to start looking for this scimitar?
I fear this realm is strange to me as well. I suggest we separate into teams. Let's scout the area. Good idea. Katana
What
and
else
I
about
were, in
Mortal
times
Kombat?
past, we were a formidable team, Katana. Perhaps we might join forces once more.
Yes, but give me one moment.
What else about this cartoon right here? Episode 4, Skin Deep.
We have unresolved business.
Who is he? And why are you acting like you owe him something?
Many years ago, Rain and I were engaged. There's no time to explain more now. Please, try and understand.
Yeah, sorry, got distracted for a moment.
Oh,
Did you see
Liu
that?
Kang goes with Striker.
You're so jealous.
Liu Kang goes with Striker. They do battle
Hey,
with
give him a break.
Motaro and what's his name during the battle with the Lin Kuei Cybers. Kitana gets captured by Rain and is held hostage inside some mysterious booby trap place guarded by a giant anteater Triclops-like monster that Liu Kang defeats and incinerates with a fireball. Liu Kang rescues Kitana, and Kitana then confronts and does battle with Rain. Rain escapes before he can be captured or killed, and that's the last we see of Rain during this series. But like I said, awesome episode. We got episode 5, widely considered one of the best episodes of the series, and that is the much superior Old Friends Never Die. This is Smoke's theme episode with, apart from the new Smoke's Mortal Kombat 3 Lin Kuei cybernetic automation storyline is for the most part left intact apart from the appearance of Lin Kuei Master of Nero. This is widely considered one of the greatest episodes ever. It has some of the best action. And it's spot on with its video game counterpart. I love this episode because this episode was the first to get Smoke's origin.
To trap us on this plane.
This was the first adaptation back in the 90s.
Now we need to find a way back to
origin right. Every other version has Smoke as a bad guy, when it's not true. He was a good guy
And to save
who was
Katana,
captured.
Our risk is dead in this
place.
by the
They
Lin
thought of
Kuei
everything.
and forced to automate and brainwash to be evil and brainwash to kill his best friend Sub-Zero.
Hi, boys and
Sub-Zero
girls. Looking for a photo?
helped Smoke recover his soul
How did you-
and
I've been here
aid
with you the
him
whole time.
in the
Keep
battle
an eye on
against
you.
Sektor and
Paranoid
Cyrax
Thunder
and the
God.
entire
I guess
battle
that's one thing
against
Shao Kahn didn't figure out.
against Shao Kahn. And Smoke was later trying to
Smart
ambush
Thunder
attack
God.
on Kahn,
Now let's
only
move.
to
You gotta get
get
your butt back
deactivated
there
and locked
at
away in
Shao
his
Kahn's starting his
fortress where
invasion.
he will be
I'm
found
not
by
going. Not without
Noob
your time.
Saibot,
Consider
Noob
this
Saibot, Noob
She
Smoke,
may
and
have
Noob Saibot, and Noob Saibot will program to be his subordinate.
Maybe.
Um,
But I have to know. I'm
subordinate
staying.
Then I'll
Sub-Zero,
stay
and
too.
then
You'll need help.
Sub-Zero, and then
Hello, Earth invasion? Hey, you
would
might
help
consider doing some
Smoke
fighting yourself.
reclaim Smoke as an ally again, and we
That's
see
telling
Smoke on
him.
the side of
Don't
good
you
in the
see?
final battle.
I've got to
In
find
the
out the
final
truth
battle
about
of
Kitana.
Armageddon against
If
good
she really
versus evil.
cares about
That's
Rain,
Smoke's
or about
storyline. Now the
else
deception
can I grow
Armageddon
up
itself, they couldn't have known about at the time, but they should have known much more about what's his name. In other versions of Mortal Kombat,
Okay,
this was the
okay,
first
I
one
give up.
to get
But
Smoke's
remember,
story
you're still
right.
mortal.
And all the other differences is Cyrax and Sektor's ethnicities have been changed. Sektor is Afro-American
Thank you.
and
Where do we
Cyrax
start?
is Asian.
I
We're
found
supposed to
this
be the
on
other
the
way
ground.
around.
She might have left it as a
But not
clue.
much, nothing was known about Cyrax or Sektor's human forms at the time, so I'll forgive that. But yeah, other than that, yeah, there was also several funny moments
Tell me
involving
something,
the
Stryker.
supporting characters, Stryker
Why
and
did you
Jax,
stay?
where
No special reason.
Jax and Sonya, where Stryker was
No.
competing with
You
Sub-Zero. Stryker in the beginning was
Something happened to
competing with
me.
Sub-Zero in target practice,
A
and
long time ago.
the winner gets to choose their reward. And since Sub-Zero
There
won the challenge,
was a
Stryker
girl.
had to do whatever he wanted for a
She
week,
used
and
to
that was instead of taking
look at
money,
me the way
his favorite
Kitana looks at
time,
you.
anything, Sub-Zero
But I was
decided
a riot
Stryker
guy.
will
My
learn the
career
ways
always
of a
came
ninja,
first.
will learn the
So I
ways
guess
of a
I was never
ninja,
around when she
and
needed me.
Sonya,
She finally walked
says,
out on me.
excellent torture. I've been training
Another
and
guy.
Sonya would
You ever
say,
tell
"Well, I
anyone
gotta
I'll
see
use this
Stryker as a
baton on
ninja."
your head?
Stryker
That's a
as
promise.
ninja. The other combatants were just clowning him. It was hilarious, man. It was hilarious. Yeah, so
Man,
Smoke once again turns on his master Hero and aids Sub-Zero, but returns to Lin Kuei at the end. The next episode.
it's about time you made yourself useful.
Keep forgetting what it was called, but this is
You
the
know,
episode.
strictly speaking, God,
This episode
I'm supposed to
features the
do
first
this.
appearance of Kano in this continuity, and it continues where his Mortal Kombat storyline, Mortal Kombat 1995 movie storyline left off. Shao Kahn helped Kano elude that even though Sonya killed him in the movie. Helped him elude that, and he tasked him with some portal technology to set the combatants receiving signals in various deserted areas, sending them around the world. And this episode also centers around Nightwolf. Nightwolf starts relying way too much on his technology over human and animal instinct, and as such he keeps screwing up and leading the combatants to barren wastelands. It is only when Sub-Zero Nightwolf decides to go with the gang, as atonement for all the bad things he did, and to prove that he's not a screw-up. Nightwolf finds a mysterious artifact with the Black Dragon symbol on it, and then Sonya immediately notices as Kano, and Kano somehow survived. So Nightwolf goes with them on one final mission together. The combatant games, Sonya and the combatant games defeat Kano and a bunch of mummies, but Kano escapes as the place collapsed, devastating Sonya. Devastating Sonya, but the combat game kind of surrounded. So yeah, this is the final episode. These were the best episodes. For the most part, they were spot on with the game. The next episode, which I'm going to talk about in the next part, episode 7, was awesome, but it had nothing to do with video games. Nothing to do with video games. That's the biggest issue I have with episode 7 and 10. Awesome episodes, but they have little to do with the actual video game of Mortal Kombat. These three, for the most part, were spot on with the video game. I felt like I was watching Mortal Kombat, the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 play out on the screen. This was episodes 4 through 6. Episode 7 through 10 are next. Alright. Now it's time for the next part of my Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm Season 1 review. Season 1 review. This is time for episodes 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 7, 8, 9, and 10. I like all of these episodes with 8 and 9 being my favorites. And of course, the best. So with that being said, I left off on episode 10. Just got done, finished watching episode 9 over again. Episode 10 will probably be the weakest. It's probably the weakest of these four episodes. Episode 7 and 10 are great episodes, but they really have nothing to do with the Mortal Kombat storyline. Let's start off with episode 7. In episode 7, during the mission against the Shokan, Sonya disobeys Striker's order, causing him and rushes into battle, causing him to get injured. In retaliation, Stryker has Sonya escort him back to base so he can suspend her indefinitely. Now, here's the problem I had with this. Wow, this is a great episode. Number one, apart from the Shokan and Shiva, it has nothing to do with the Mortal Kombat storyline. The second problem I have is, while I like the suspension storyline, how does Stryker, a riot cop, have that authority over Sonya, a special forces major? Green Beret, which is what Sonya and Jax are. I'm actually surprised. That's a real life special forces. That's a real life military branch in real life. And yeah, how does Stryker have that ability? Shouldn't Raiden, because it's his team, have that ability? Or hell, even Nightwolf, because it's his cave. And technology. Shouldn't he have that authority? Or even Sonya and Jax, because they're special forces. But how does a riot cop have that authority to decide who is quote unquote suspended? Other than that, it was a great episode. It really focused on Sonya's arc. She's impulsive, reckless, and refuses to admit or ask for help and rushes right into things without thinking it through. Jax is even worse when it comes to this. This in the newer timelines. So I like how that episode focused on that aspect of her character. And you got touched on the fact that she might want to quit fighting because we got it from their point of view. The combat characters, they fight. All they do is fight and fight some more, and nothing is really resolved. One battle continuously leads to the next battle, and she continues to fail time after time to find, beat, and kill, and get rid of Kano permanently. So that's why episode 7 is the weakness. Now let's go to episode 8. Episode 8 is one of the more popular episodes of the series, because this episode, I keep forgetting this too.
It goes on the face, not in it.
This episode provided the debut of the Mortal Kombat character Quan Chi. This was his debut, his genesis. He will debut in the games in Mythology Sub-Zeros and make his debut as a playable character, and of course, one of the greatest Mortal Kombat games of all time, Mortal Kombat 4. Anyway, in this particular video game right here, during a mission, the combat game a refugee of the realm of Zatori,
Give me a break. She's in her own world.
and
there's a
gives
no
them a
trespassing sign
specific
on the
orb.
door.
Maybe
This
you're going
in
about
return,
Kitana wrong.
of course,
Just
the
get in
boy,
there and tell her you need a female to confide in.
the boy they rescue is of course Quan Chi in disguise. The orb they give him,
Come in, Sonya.
the orb they quote unquote give him causes
I'm sorry
the
if I
combat
disturbed
characters
you.
to become angry,
I was
violent, and
sleeping? Meditating.
bitter towards each other,
I'd like to try that
each other.
sometime.
And on one
It would be
mission,
quite
all hell
surprised at what
breaks
you like
loose, and they
fun.
all end up fighting
What
each
can I
other.
do for you, son?
They all end up fighting each other, forcing Nightwolf to step
I
in,
thought that
forcing Nightwolf to step in, and who wasn't exposed to the
Perhaps
gym
another time.
to destroy it with his axe. And
Yeah.
Quan Chi turns into a snake. Snake attacks the gang and leaves. This was one. This not even about a debut of Quan Chi, but this was one of the
Here's the
funniest
latest rip.
and most
Located in a dormant
hilarious
volcano,
episodes of Mortal
But
Kombat.
I've never
The
seen
figures of the
meetings
round
like
that
this
feature the
before.
characters insulting,
Energy is a very unusual type.
cursing,
When
and
is
fighting
it?
at each other
Well, what are we
for
waiting
almost
for?
the entire episode. Until they exploded. So
There's something about
Yeah.
these readings I just don't like.
then you got episode 9 and see Quan Chi, he was a stand-in for Shang Tsung, who of course Shang Tsung will make his grand return from the 1995 movie in the episode 9. Episode
So what's up,
9,
Jax?
which this episode right here was part of a
How you
huge
enjoying the weather?
crossover between a 4-part animated crossover between the Street Fighter cartoon, the Mortal Kombat cartoon, and the Savage Dragon and Wing Commander cartoons. Each of these cartoons featured a Thor-like warrior character traveling from realm to realm, universe to universe, looking for a mysterious orb, which appeared in all 4 episodes. And in each episode, this orb had a mysterious effect. In this episode, this orb had the power to control the weather, which of course affected Raiden.
Just
Shao Kahn resurrected Shang Tsung. They comically slapped him for his failure in the 1995
we got
Mortal
work to
Kombat
do.
movie. Mortal
Let's do
Kombat
this by the
movie
book,
and gave him
people.
another chance
Nightwolf
with
said it was
the
unusual.
orb. With this mysterious orb that controls the weather. The orb controls the weather. It affects Raiden's powers. Raiden's powers, and as such, Raiden, Jax decide to stay behind with Raiden in the game, with Raiden and the quote-unquote, with Raiden and Raiden in the game, while the rest of the combatants go to take the fight to Shang Tsung, who Shang Tsung traps them in a canyon. It's up to Jax and Raiden to save the day. They narrowly save the day when Raiden knocks the orb out of Shang Tsung's hand, thus giving the combatants time to escape the canyon. And the combatants then Raiden does battle with Shang Tsung, beats him with no powers, and instead of killing him, he tosses him in a portal. He kicks him into a portal right back to the Emperor. Then the episode ends with the Warrior King chasing after the orb into the next universe, which I think is the Street Fighter universe. Yeah, this was a good episode. This was Shang Tsung at his most powerful. One of my favorite depictions of Shang Tsung is this cartoon right here. Then you got episode 10. Episode 10, The Sword of Ilkhan. This episode is more similar to Thor and the New Adventures of He-Man and Highlander in the animated series than Mortal Kombat, than quote-unquote Mortal Kombat, and that's why it's the weakest among episode 7. It has nothing to do with the Mortal Kombat storyline. It features a one, I think named Sauron, I think that's her name, Sora, I think that's her name, who was another friend of Kitana who betrayed her to Shao Kahn. That happens a lot. That happens 3 times in this series with characters betraying Kitana for Shao Kahn. And this is the second character to do it. The second character to do it. The first was Rain. Anyway, the warrior, the Sora, Kuro,
I demand you release him. Demand? You're in no position to demand anything. In fact, considering the caused me in
consumes his
the
life
past.
force with the
Be
sword. In
grateful
order to
that I
save
don't
Jax's
slay
life,
you all on
Sonya,
the spot.
Kitana are tasked with going on the quest to retrieve the other half of a mystical sword, the other half of a mystical sword, or Jax dies. They achieve the sword, but they trick her and do not give her the sword. Instead, Kitana challenges
But that's
Sora
impossible.
to a
They
battle,
were
and Kitana
hidden by
banishes
you
her
and
to a
Rama.
place called the Void.
Finding them
To
has
a
cost me dearly.
place called the
Many
Void.
of my
Throughout this
warriors
episode,
have
Sub-Zero, Liu
perished
Kang,
twice.
and the other
But
combatants
now
are trapped
I
behind a
have
wall
one.
where they try to kick it all, where they try to
And
kick it
you
all day.
know where to
I
find the
like it, but I
others.
do like what they tried to do. They tried to do
You'll never get your hands on the second
girl
sword.
power themed
Oh, but I
episode where
will,
Kitana and
Princess.
Sonya, the female
You
characters
should
in
have
the group,
joined my rebellion
saved the
when I
world
gave
for
you the
once. I
chance.
did like that.
I will
Well,
hand
that
you the sword
concludes
because you
that
are going to
concludes
get it for me.
this part of the
What you
Mortal
talking
Kombat
about, Kitana? What are these
review.
swords?
Mortal Kombat
Twin
review.
swords
The
of
final
Illusion,
part
the most powerful
is
weapon
coming
ever
next
devised.
with
But only when used
Cabal.
together. Prove
With
that even
yeah, the
one
final
of
part
them
is
has the
next. So
power
get
to
ready.
open portals and seal the fate of
Curtis Striker. Driven by purpose and bound
Hey
by
everybody,
these are the
it's now
defenders of
time
the
for
realm.
the final part of my late, out of date, entire season one episode reviews of Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
Can you make it
Unlike
another
other
voice?
cartoons and videos which have multiple seasons, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm only had one. So like I said in the beginning, I broke the episodes up. Individually into three to four sections, and
Some kind of theater. It's been a while since I last met
3 to 4 sections,
the Black Dragon.
and then mixed them all together for one giant video right here. This is my review of the final three episodes. The first, I think it's called, the first is called, episode 11 is called Amends. I think that's what it's called. I keep forgetting what it's called, but anyway, this is the iconic Cabal episode. Yes. And by the way, all three of these episodes were awesome. What an awesome way to go out for Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. While I hate that this show ended after season one, it should have lasted for at least another 13 episodes for season 2. It sucks once again. Right when these shows get real good, back in the 90s, these awesome shows were canceled. When they were getting real good. Anyway, but these final 3 episodes went out with a bang. First, you had this episode right here. This was the episode 11, the Cabal theme episode. The Mortal Kombat 3 character Cabal made his way into the storyline. And for the most part, apart from a couple of changes here, he made his Mortal Kombat debut. With his backstory, for the most part, left unchanged and left intact. There are a couple of changes and differences, but not much was known about Cabal or Mortal Kombat back when this cartoon episode was made. He also had Sub-Zero, Smoke, Kitana, and I guess Kitana and another character named Ruby, who will be part of the next episode, had the most tragic and saddest backstories in the series. In this episode also induces some depth. Once again, it induces more depth. When they first meet Cabal, they think he's still part of the Black Dragon. Despite what the Black Dragon did to them. Raiden reveals Cabal's tragic backstory of how he was once a Black Dragon, but the Emperor knew Cabal would reform and become one of the chosen ones, one of the defenders of the realm. So he had his outworld people brutally attack him and maim him it mess up his face so bad that he had to cover it with the respirator from the respirator breathing apparatus he has in the video game.
Portal down here?
The other combatants really don't trust him, but Sonya does trust him, and not only trusts him, sympathizes with him, but she mentions a friend of hers named Maggie who had a severe accident, ended up in a wheelchair, and people start treating her differently, and it just ate her up inside. A tragic and powerful moment for what is supposed to be a kid-friendly video game adaptation cartoon. Like I said earlier, with the Street Fighter and Double Dragons, while these cartoons were campy, cheesy, and fun, they didn't shy away from death and dark topics.
Nice work. You let him get away again.
Dark
The Emperor ain't paid.
topics. Anyway, the combatants help Cabal destroy Kato and the Black Dragon's base and defeat Hideyoshi. Cabal joins the defenders of the realm, but elects to stay underground, still fighting, stay underground for a while, stay underground for a while. So yeah, awesome episode. They had episode 12, which was even better. The character of Ermac makes his debut in this episode as a henchman. As a henchman, which for the most part, well, he didn't have much of a backstory when he started. He was just a warrior created of souls. He was just a warrior created of multiple souls. And instead of the cool green energy power, he has a cool red laser here. And he was also controversially seen unmasked in this cartoon. Instead of Jade, a stand-in for Jade named Ruby takes her place, and just like Sarad from episode 10, this character right here is another former friend of Katana's who betrayed her, who betrayed her. But just like Jade, she eventually at the end, she realized what she did was wrong and decided to aid the combatants in escaping Khan. This whole episode also is, once again, is another tragic one that features Jax hearing about his grandfather dying, who practically raised him, and apparently Jax then decides he needs to retire from the team. He decides to retire with this mysterious woman. It turns out this woman was a spy working for Khan, and wanted to violently interrogate Jax for the whereabouts of the combat base. So the combatants go and rescue her, and the combatants go rescue Jax. Does battle with Ermac, and his and the red ninjas, from episode 6. So yeah, episode is sad and tragic, because at the end, Jax tells Ruby to leave this place and come with him. Ruby says Jax's place is in Earthrealm, and her place is here with her people, and that she was wrong to follow Khan. And the episode ends with Sonya comically dragging Jax and saying, "You're coming with me," and dragging him away. So yeah. Season 13, Overthrown, I think that's what it's called. The final episode of Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. And boy, did they go out with a bang. This episode features lots of cartoonish, deformed animation. Not deformed animation, but a lot of Japanese gonzo anime cartoon style of anime. This looks more like an anime more than any of the others. Once again, taking cues from the Japanese anime scene at the time and the Street Fighter 2 anime films. Anyway, this episode is complex, with Shao Kahn instructing Shang Tsung to transform as Shiva and form a new alliance with Liu Kang and Kitana that talks about overthrowing Khan, and that talks about overthrowing Khan and luring Kitana, Liu Kang, and the other combatants into a quote unquote ambush This plan nearly works. This plan nearly works until Raiden comes at the last minute. Comes at the last minute with Motaro, on the Centaur and Motaro on the Centaur and get the bad guys to turn on each other because as much as they hate Shao Kahn, he's fairer and benevolent in comparison to if Shang Tsung gets the throne. Shang Tsung is thrown, so all the bad guys turn on each other. All the bad guys turn on each other into combat. It's used this time to battle their way out to Earthrealm.
Friend of yours? Yes, Hideyoshi.
Earthrealm.
Most of all, Shao Kahn.
Earthrealm. The day is saved, but they failed to free Kitana's homeworld. And I had a feeling that if season 2 would have happened, it would have featured Shao Kahn opening up the portal, stripping Earthrealm of their souls, and him having his priests and someone else resurrect Sindel and invade Earthrealm, invade Earthrealm, taking us to Mortal Kombat 3. And I think the next series of episodes would have centered around Shinnok, the fallen elder guy, and I think it would have ended there. I like I said, just like the Double Dragon and Street Fighter, I like this cartoon so much. I'm doing my own comic book and video cartoon picture novelization of this of what happened after this battle. Now, I think this would have ended at 3 and 4, but I incorporated the Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon storylines into my story too. But yeah, I wish they would have aired for another 13 more episodes. This was canceled when USA decided to get rid of its cartoon block, and as such, Double Dragon, Street Fighter, which also aired back to back with this, that was canceled. That was canceled too. But yeah, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, like I said earlier, still one of the greatest cartoons of all time. Not just video game cartoons, one of the greatest cartoons of all time. It's everything a Saturday morning cartoon and video game adaptation should be, in my opinion. To this day, still, well, it's now been surpassed by Battle of the Realms, but still the best Mortal Kombat adaptation outside of its video game counterpart.
My anger is meant only for myself.
This is, in my opinion, the closest to what Mortal Kombat was about, despite the toned-down violence. Which, like I said, you have a problem with, because most of that violence didn't even happen in the video games.
The Black Dragon above ground?
My appearance gives me little choice. The world above is repelled by what it does not understand.
I like watching and reviewing this back to back. I have several video game playthroughs with this cartoon being reviewed at the same time, coming in the future.
She had an accident, and she ended up in a wheelchair. Suddenly everyone started treating her like she
And
was
once again, another cartoon I saw that I loved as a kid, and it's even better.
And it drove me crazy.
It's even better as an adult, once again. But before we watched it as an adult, I watched the Whisk Watchers series first. His stupidity series, where you saw mostly all the goofy and funny moments from this cartoon. Mostly episode 8. The Secret of Quan Chi, one of the funniest episodes of the series, in my opinion. One of the funniest episodes, in my opinion. One of the funniest episodes in the series. And then, so I often once again wrote it off as a 90s cheesy cartoon. A cartoon that I love, but it's cheesy and campy. As an adult, I think it's one of the best cartoons. I think it's one of the best cartoons around. Cartoon is even better as an adult than it was when I was a kid.
Looks like the Black Dragon is about to use their new toy to open another portal.
Well, this has been my review of Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. You don't want to hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now.
There are two members of the dragon, even for you. Their base is well guarded. The only hope is if one person can slip in undetected.